Ellen hadn't slept all night. Neither had William, her husband, who sat in a chair watching her with a large pair of scissors in his hand. He wasn't really her husband. They weren't legally married. Slaves in 1848 Georgia weren't allowed to get married. It was illegal. And they had never slept together. They both agreed that they didn't want to bring children into a world of slavery where they would be sold off by their masters, like their families had been. No, children would have to wait. Ellen rose from the bed, and with trembling hands she removed her blouse. Taking a long piece of muslin, she wrapped it around her chest, crushing her breast to her skin and tying it off. William came up behind her, and with the scissors began cutting her hair off as tears rolled down her cheeks. Stepping back, he looked her over and was amazed at how much she looked like a young Southern gentleman. Ellen was born to a white Southern plantation owner and his Negro slave, and being born mostly white, most folks couldn't tell that she was a Negro. When she turned 11, she was given as a Christmas present to Dr. Robert Collins and his wife, who lived in Macon, Georgia. Now she was 22, and for the last 2 years she and William had planned their escape, and now that day had arrived. Ellen put on the clothes that she and William had gathered from the local church charities for the poor, clothes that she had altered to fit herself. And now, for the next 4 days, she would become Mr. Johnson, traveling with his personal slave, Tom. One last check, a kiss, and they stepped out of the cabin and struck out for their freedom, knowing that if they were caught, they would be whipped, beaten, and most likely killed. Consumed in fear, they would have to travel over 1,000 miles to reach Philadelphia and their freedom. Ellen would have to ride on the finest train the South had to offer with the other white folk, stay in their finest hotel, and ride on their finest steamers. All of this under the very noses of those who would have them killed had they known who they were. It wasn't easy for this 22-year-old woman, consumed in fear every minute of the journey, where she would be challenged over and over again, challenged for papers for her slave, papers she didn't have, challenged to sign her name and that of her slave that she couldn't sign, as she and William could neither read nor write, it being against the law to teach a slave these things, and challenged to sell her slave to a slave trader, fearing that they would be found out when she refused. When they left Macon, Georgia on December the 21st, they had planned to be in Philadelphia on December the 25th, Christmas Day. But something went terribly wrong. When William went missing, she feared he had been caught. Where was he? Were they coming for her? What would she do? Where would she go? She had no money, no friends, no place to stay, and freedom was just minutes away. They had made it so far. And now? I'm afraid you'll have to read my screenplay to answer these questions and many more. You can request a copy of my screenplay at fixcharles@yahoo.com. Please note that it is in final draft format. Thanks for watching.